Can I tell you about the most embarrassing 4 seconds of my life? I was in a coffee shop. Not a job interview, not a presentation. Just a coffee shop. A woman came up to me. She pointed at the chair next to mine and said, very simply, very kindly, "Is this seat taken?" I opened my mouth. Nothing came out. Not the wrong word, not a mistake. Nothing. Complete silence. For about 4 seconds. Which felt like 4 years. She waited, I stared, she slowly took the chair herself and walked away. And I sat there thinking, I know that sentence. I have known that sentence for years. Where did it go?
Hey, English learners.
Welcome back to English Without Apology.
I'm Claire.
And I'm Jake, the guy from the coffee shop story.
That story is very real. He told me the same day it happened.
Still hurts a little.
Today we're talking about something every English learner has experienced, but almost nobody talks about.
That moment when your English just disappears. You know the words, you've studied, you've practiced. But when the moment comes, nothing.
Before we go further, we have a question for you right now. When was the last time your English disappeared exactly when you needed it? Write it below in one sentence. It doesn't have to be perfect. One sentence is enough.
We read every single comment. Every one.
And I promise, you are not going to be alone down there. Okay, so Jake's coffee shop moment. Let's talk about what actually happened there.
Please, because I've been confused about it for a while.
Here's what most people think. My English disappeared because I don't know enough English.
Yeah, that's exactly what I thought.
That is almost never the reason.
Really?
When your brain detects social pressure, someone looking at you, waiting for an answer, judging your words, it doesn't react like a classroom. It reacts like a threat.
Like danger?
Like danger. Your nervous system sends a signal. And one of the first things that signal does is block access to language.
So my brain was protecting me.
By shutting down the exact thing you needed. Yes.
That's the least helpful protection I've ever heard of.
I know. But here's the important part. This does not mean your English is bad. It means your brain is working exactly the way human brains work.
Every learner who froze was frozen by biology, not by failure.
Exactly that. I want to tell you something I don't usually share.
Oh?
2 years ago, I was at a small dinner. 6 people. One of them was someone I really admired. A woman who had done incredible work in education.
Yeah.
She turned to me directly and asked, "So Claire, what's your philosophy on language learning?"
Oh no.
I teach English. That is literally my subject. And I said for about 3 seconds. Then I said something like, "It depends." And then I just stopped.
You froze too?
Completely. And the worst part, you know what I did after the dinner?
What?
I went home and rehearsed the perfect answer. For 40 minutes, alone, in my kitchen.
Ah, the replay.
The replay. You know it?
Oh, I know it very well. The replay is the worst part. Not the silence itself, but what comes after. You go home, you lie in bed, and your brain, which was completely offline when you needed it, suddenly has all the words. Oh, I should have said this, and then this perfect sentence that would have made everyone impressed.
Yes.
3 hours late? Very useful, brain. Thank you.
The technical term for that is l'esprit de l'escalier.
The what?
It's French. It means the spirit of the staircase. The idea you have on your way out when it's already too late.
So even the French have a word for this. It's that universal.
It is that universal. Can I tell you something that I wish someone had told me earlier?
Please.
The fact that your English disappears means you care.
Go on.
People who don't care about getting it right, they don't freeze. They just say whatever. No pressure, no fear, no silence. You freeze because it matters to you. Because you want to do it right. Because you respect the person in front of you. That is not weakness. That's the reason you're still here, still learning, still trying.
It wasn't you waret sutuntunva. I never thought about it that way.
Most people don't. But it's true.
Okay. So now that we know it's not our fault, what do we actually do about it?
Now we talk about that. 3 phrases, all designed for one specific situation. When your English disappears and you need to keep going anyway.
Let's go.
Phrase 1, the 2-second bridge. That's a good question. Let me think for a second.
That's a good question. Let me think for a second.
This phrase does 3 things at once. It buys you time. It sounds confident. And it tells the other person, I'm still here, I'm thinking, I'm not lost.
And 2 seconds is actually enough time for the brain to unlock?
Often, yes. The silence was the problem. The bridge removes the silence. And suddenly, the words come back.
Okay. So, coffee shop. Woman asks, is this seat taken? Instead of freezing, that's a good question. Let me think for a second.
I mean, technically correct.
Ah, okay. Maybe not for every situation.
Use this when someone asks your opinion, your experience, or anything that needs a real answer. Not for is this seat taken?
Noted.
Phrase 2, the honest restart. Sorry, let me start that again.
Sorry, let me start that again.
This one is for when you froze in the middle of a sentence. You started speaking, then your brain went offline. And now you're stuck somewhere in the middle with no way out.
Oh, I know this one very personally.
Most learners, when this happens, try to keep going. They add more words and more words, hoping to find the way out.
Like digging deeper into the hole.
Exactly. The better move, stop, reset, restart clearly. Sorry, let me start that again. Pause, breathe, then say the sentence from the beginning.
Okay. So I think the reason why this is, the main thing is, sorry, let me start that again. The main reason is that I needed more time.
Perfect. Clean, honest, confident. Nobody thinks less of you for resetting. They think more of you.
Because it shows I know what I'm saying. I just needed to organize it.
Exactly that. Phrase 3, the honest exit. My English is a bit slow today. Bear with me.
That one is different.
It is different because this one names what's happening. Instead of hiding the freeze, you acknowledge it.
And that doesn't make you look bad?
It makes you look human. And it removes the pressure completely. Once you say it out loud, the freeze usually loosens.
My English is a bit slow today. Bear with me. Oh, that actually felt relieving to say.
Because the enemy of the freeze is pretending everything is fine. Honesty breaks the pattern. Okay, quick drill. Real situation. I'm a colleague. We're in a meeting. I ask you a question. Ready?
Ready.
Jake, what do you think is the biggest challenge with the new project timeline?
That's a good question. Let me think for a second. I think the biggest challenge is... Sorry, let me start that again. The biggest challenge is the number of dependencies between teams. If one team is late, everyone is late.
Good point. Have you thought about a solution?
My English is a bit slow today. Bear with me. I think weekly check-ins would help a lot.
Perfect. All 3 phrases. Natural, professional, human.
And I didn't freeze once.
Because you had something to say when the silence came.
Okay. Let's pull this together.
Phrase 1,
That's a good question. Let me think for a second. The 2-second bridge buys you time. Sounds confident.
phrase 2,
Sorry, let me start that again. The honest restart. Stop digging. Reset cleanly.
phrase 3,
My English is a bit slow today. Bear with me. The honest exit. Name it. The pressure breaks.
and the big idea behind all 3.
Your English isn't gone. It's just hiding. And now you know how to find it.
Yes, exactly that. From the guy who sat in silence in a coffee shop,
Don't remind me.
haha, to someone who now has 3 phrases to use when it happens again.
And it will happen again. That's okay. Now I'm ready for it.
Here's your challenge. Small, safe, specific. This week, just this week, when you feel your English starting to disappear, use phrase 1. That's a good question. Let me think for a second. Just the first 2 seconds, that's it. You don't need the perfect answer. You just need to survive the silence.
And when you try it, come back and tell us one sentence. Did it help? Did you freeze anyway? Did the person react? We genuinely want to know.
Every comment here is someone who understands what you're going through. That coffee shop story? We've heard 50 versions of it already in the comments of other episodes.
You are in very good company.
If this episode helped you, subscribe. New episodes every week. Real English, real situations, real conversations.
Next episode, How to disagree in English without destroying the relationship.
Very useful. You won't want to miss it.
Thanks for being here today. Seriously.
We really appreciate you.
See you next time.
Bye.